Hello and welcome to episode 47 of the Extreme Hardware Podcast. This is our second week trying to record this episode because things got kind of fucked last week. So going down the list of our co-hosts today, we've got Alex.
You're going to have to bleep that. You can't swear straight away, Simmons.
Says you. We've also got Axifer. And we've also got Navjack.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Chris might show up mid-recording, which is going to be wonderful for editing purposes. So just kicking this right off the bat, CyberPunk 2077. So I think we talked about this initially, like when it was first released, and everybody complaining about various bugs and incompatibility issues. Well, not really incompatibility issues, just on the PC release of the game, there's definitely some glitches and other shenanigans with it. However, on the Xbox One and the PS4, there's some instances where the game is just completely unplayable. Mostly frame rate related, but then there's been several issues of people reporting that on those consoles especially, just horrendous visual bugs and soft locking of various gameplay mechanics for some of the storyline elements. It's pretty silly sometimes. I've also seen quite a few screenshots of T-posing in PCs, which is always a great sight to see.
Yeah. Well, a update released not too long ago where if you're driving very quickly on the highway, sometimes you would just T-pose on top of your motorcycle or car if you're playing in third person.
Amazing! And because of a lot of these issues, we've been getting a lot of console gamers who are looking to refund the game because, well, it's unplayable. And it's not a lot, but there's been some resellers that apparently have not been honoring refunds. And CD Projekt Red ended up chiming in and said, yeah, if you have proof that the seller that you purchased the game from will not refund you, they will personally refund you.
I wonder how many people actually have taken them up on that. Probably like 4.
I mean, still, it's a matter of they're actually doing it rather than not.
No, but
Sony did pull the game from the PlayStation Store, which was just amazing. That's never happened before for any large game like this.
Yeah. So actually, on this next article, so in regards to that, because the game is basically unplayable on the PS4, CD Projekt Red reached out to Sony, and they canceled distribution of the game up until the major update, which is scheduled for release, I think, in the first or second week in January. So, because allegedly that will fix some of the optimization issues that's just breaking the game. Xbox, however, Microsoft has not canceled the release yet.
They are still doing refunds, though.
They are still doing refunds. That's true.
My favorite bit is when people they bitch about, oh, I got a refund, but they removed the game from me.
Oh my gosh, I saw that on Twitter where it was just screenshots of people who bought the digital release.
It's not one guy as well. It's like
there's a couple hundred. Yeah.
Now, one thing that I do find amazing about this is the game was originally announced in 2012. The PS4 and Xbox One were released a year later. So CD Projekt Red have had the entire life cycle of last generation consoles to make the game work on those consoles.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I have a feeling, like a lot of people like to say, this game started development in 2012, etc., etc. I wonder how long it actually was in development for. Because a lot of these times, companies will do these kind of teasers, but they're busy working on current projects or something like that. They only start the development like 2 to 4 years or 2 to 3 years before it gets released.
Yeah, because development could also from the general term include the storyboarding, right?
Yeah, so the first few years could be the whole world building, art, engine picking, assembling the team, marketing campaign, investors, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, because like if you look at the last major release from CD Projekt Red, aka The Witcher 3, that was also a very long-term development cycle. I think it was like 6 years worth of development for that game, and most of the programming for that came within the last 2.5 years of the development cycle. So
Yeah, it does feel like this game has been in development for like 2 years, not 8.
correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is that with the story being longer and then just the programming much, much shorter.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see if the game improves. Now, I will say, I think the best thing about the game's release is the RTX implementation that they've got. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I do think they have the best RTX implementation for anything on the market right now. Any game, anyway.
Right.
Well, that and also DLSS 2.0, at least we finally have some proper evidence that it's actually good technology worth turning on, unlike 1.0.
So, and the intention for DLSS is just being able to render 4K and then downsampling to 1080p or 1440p, right?
Other way, render it at lower at like 1080p with ray tracing, and then upscale it using DLSS
Oh, gotcha.
to
gotcha.
4K or something.
Okay. So,
Oh, for what it's worth, by the way, Cyberpunk's development was rebooted at least once during its cycle.
Yeah, at least.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
well, didn't they change engines a couple times, or am I thinking of a different game?
thinking of
You're-
a different game.
You're
You're
thinking
thinking of Star Citizen.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The game that still doesn't exist.
Engine to Lumberyard, maybe something else now potentially.
Isn't Lumberyard Amazon's thing?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow. Could you imagine? Oh, can you imagine Star Citizen? Like you buying, I don't know, Christmas gifts on Amazon. You're in Star Citizen, and the in-game TVs are like, buy this. You just browsed it on Amazon. We know you're interested in it.
Oh gosh, in-game advertising using the Amazon.
This is a complete side
algorithm.
topic, but why? Like, why would that not happen in the future?
Oh, no, it absolutely will happen.
Isn't
There's-
Madden and all that crap doing that?
Yeah, no, I was about to say there was a slideshow thing that EA did for exactly that
Oh my
for
goodness.
Yeah,
for sports games.
I think the most recent Madden release, they actually have like 30-second or 60-second unskippable ads between like touchdowns and various other events.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I've not really.
I don't care enough
Confirmed
about
it.
the franchise to even give it my search browser algorithm building.
Oh, so the unskippable ads were put into the game 1 month after its release, so none of the reviews were affected.
Mm-hmm.
That's planned.
Yeah,
Take-Two,
definitely.
Take-Two is straight up evil, honestly.
That's EA. Take-Two do the basketball game.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at your NBA, not Madden. Sorry.
All right.
It's all the same crap.
It's all the same thing.
NBA 2K21, because K is much easier than saying
okay.
zero.
You have to be careful because 2K is its own dedicated franchise. I can't remember what the other franchise that was really big at the time was.
I give up. It's a sports game about
It's
basketball.
a sports game. It's the same shit.
But speaking of sports games, and this is not a topic on the document, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. F1 game series is going to be sold to EA or Take-Two,
Oh no.
which is sad because Codemasters essentially is looking to sell. I don't know if it's all of Codemasters or all of their motorsport stuff to EA or Take-Two.
That'd be a bit weird because they just bought Project Cars, the series, and ruined
it just flopped. Yeah, so it's going to be Project Cars, it's going to be the F1 series of games, and it's going to be the Dirt series of games. It's going to be offloaded to EA or Take-Two. They're not sure. It's
There's
basically
Grid
like-
as well.
You look at Dirt,
and
like you got these games that they've had a few iterations now. What's stopping them from just becoming the next sports game where just every year,
So-
here's one new course added, and here's a couple new cars that were launched this year. Just like
So-
roster changes sport games, nothing actually changes gameplay wise.
Yeah, honestly, those yearly iteration of games are terrible because it's basically a patch with a guise of you having to pay $60 for it. But the F1 games and the Dirt Rally games have been pretty good in terms of the dirt rally games have been actually fairly good in terms of physics and content. They're not year over year, which I guess helps. And the F1 games have been on a steady incline towards realism and taking back actual F1 driver feedback and community feedback. And they're getting better and implementing stuff. And it's kind of like looking like F1 2021 or 2022 might be good. And now this. So
I'll still buy it if it doesn't have like major stuttering issues, because I'm annoyed. I bought F1 2019 and it worked perfectly fine for the first 2 hours, and then I started having stuttering issues and I couldn't refund it.
Oh, lovely.
I paid full price for it.
Yeah, that's where piracy as a demo really comes into handy. Because you can't, you could have found out that it stutters, although you probably wouldn't have, because pirating it removes the what's that?
The DRM.
Yeah, but what's the DRM that they use? It's the horrible
Denuvo.
Yeah, Denuvo.
I don't think they use it though.
I was
not
gonna say
F1.
Yeah, because Denuvo, I don't think F1 uses it because Denuvo is just cracked within hours of the newest release. So
that was a good year and a half for them.
But yeah, I'd rather have it be sold to EA, because EA have been redeeming themselves ever so slightly, whereas Take-Two is just, they're innovating on being more and more monetizing of every tiny aspect of the game.
I would say the thing that EA is doing well right now is, at least with with a lot of their releases lately, it seems like they're taking more of the publisher role rather than the creative oversight role that they were doing in the past, and I think that's a positive change.
Yeah, where Take-Two, I wouldn't pass them to put like, oh, if you want RTX, you have to download the RTX DLC, which costs $5.99.
Also depends like the publisher too. If you get like the right publisher that can support a proper monetization scheme, like as shitty as the game is, League of Legends is still getting by as a free-to-play game with no core gameplay changed by paying to win.
Yeah,
and it's been going forever. And you have games like Warframe, launched in 2013, DX9 on the PS4 and PC and Xbox One, is still in active development to this day, has a DirectX 12 engine upgrade in the works, with potential ray tracing coming in as well using DirectX Ultimate. And then you have games like Star Citizen and CyberPunk that just are in development for 8 years and just basically flop.
Well, see, that's the thing, is I feel like the biggest issue with Cyberpunk at this point is just the fact that the game is broken for a large majority of the player base. I feel like once this patch comes out in January, it's going to improve. Because everything that I've been seeing about the game is the story is just generally fine, even though it's haha gamer quirky in terms of some of the mannerisms that the characters are speaking in, and the gameplay mechanics are also fairly decent as well, especially character development.
Also customization.
Yeah.
Customization lacking is just...
But like the game itself seems like it would be a great experience if it wasn't so buggy right now, and that's the issue.
Yeah, like it's a good game. It's just so many bugs. And actually, speaking of customization, we were talking about this before we started recording. You cannot customize your character after the initial creation. You can't even change your hair. You can't change anything really other than your clothes.
That's an odd choice.
I mean, I would stream it to you now, but I'm stuck in a current loop where you're supposed to take down sort of like several targets, and the targets have hidden themselves underground, and I'm stuck in this loop. I can't save, I can't load, so...
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think the one funny thing is like customization. There's, not sure you guys ever remember the game Firefall by Red 5 Studios.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
So it started off really strong. It was co-developed by this guy named Grumps, who helped develop the original WoW and a couple other Blizzard big games. And it was a great game until, well, it wasn't Tencent yet, but it was another Chinese studio that took over and monetized the hell out of it and made a bunch of big changes. and they were actively seeing 30% of new installs quitting at the customization screen because there wasn't enough options for customizing their character. Just on a free-to-play game, would just quit because there wasn't enough options. It's crazy how many people play a game just for being able to customize their character.
Well, I mean, I can throw my girlfriend under the bus. A lot of like a lot of those like web flash games where they're like the dress up like 2 megabit games. You just go into a browser, you dress up a character, and you move on. Yeah, my girlfriend's freaking addicted to those, and she will spend hours upon end just going through a lot of those different character builder.
Honestly, if you look at a lot of like mobile games, they are reskins of that with an objective masking it, where it's like there's like that popular cat one as well, where a lot of it's just build and collect this things to decorate a person or a room or whatever. But the one thing I think Cyberpunk's customization is perfectly fine. It's just, it's really dumb. I remember when I first started it, and I was like, oh, I'll just choose this hair because whatever. I know there's going to be a barber shop later on, so I'm not too worried. It's just like, oh, guess not.
I half expected them to pull something like the Yakuza games where you just go to like a shop or something and then you can customize something.
I was expecting it to be GTA. You go to a barber and you choose your hairstyle. Go to shops and you can choose a whole bunch of clothes. Like,
correct.
GTA is a great thing to frankly just copy in terms of what it does and then improve on it.
And let them customize at a cost of whatever in-game
currency
and stuff you've gotten, but you have to play to customize more, which makes sense. It makes people want to play.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think that they just went, oh, we never thought of that. It really feels like it was probably just a time thing. They're like,
because
we would like to implement this, but we'll do it later on in a patch or in a DLC because let's get the game. Could you imagine, like, they delayed it so many times, like a year. Could you imagine what it was like a year ago?
Oh my God.
Yeah, like if this is their felt safe to release, could you imagine what it was they didn't feel safe to release? Like, I think it would have just been...
I feel like if they would have released it a year ago, we wouldn't have had as much in-game content to play, as well as the console releases probably would have been delayed.
Yeah, I kind of think what they probably did is they probably had a choice of focus as getting out as much content as possible and just make it so 80% of people will be able to probably play it. And that's what we have now. Sorry, TeamSpeak made a noise and I was not sure if that was me disconnecting.
That was a message.
Yeah, I don't know the TeamSpeak noises, so I was just like...
I mentioned this last week, but when we were doing our, I guess we could call it a test recording at this point, but I've changed my my TeamSpeak sound pack with the Element Animation Villager sound pack, and it's the most obnoxious thing, and I absolutely love it.
Oh my God. Can you send me that, please?
Yeah, actually, if you right-click on the file browser channel and open that up, it should be in there.
That's like when I changed my work computer to all Windows ME sounds. It's very annoying. I get an email and it's the Windows XP shutdown sound.
Oh,
I love that.
So I leave my computer speakers on when I went into work. I turn the speakers on to full volume and just lock my screen. Every time I got an email, I just play the shutdown sound.
Amazing. Yeah, no, because at some point when I downloaded this pack, they Element Animation stopped distributing it, so you had to either torrent it from sketchy magnets, or what I just did is I just rezipped the pack and uploaded it to my server.
Yeah, I don't have permissions to that. I can't right-click open file browser.
Okay, we'll deal with it later. Just remind me. But moving on to our next article, because I was not expecting us to spend 20 minutes talking about Cyberpunk, but alas. So as of December 15th, NVIDIA announced that we will be seeing an RTX 3080 Ti and 2 variants of the 3060.
Oh, I have a lot of gripe with this. I've just complained about it to you guys. But continue.
Let me just do the high level overview first. So the 3080 Ti is obviously going to sit somewhere performance wise between the 3080 and the 3090, and it will release with, it was like 20 gigabytes of VRAM. And then with the 3060, they will be releasing 2 variants, which will be the 6 gig and the 12 gig variants. And that's the only information we have, and it will be released at some arbitrary date in first half 2021.
Hmm.
I was really kind of hoping NVIDIA would just not do Ti or Super this generation and just do like the 3080 XT just because they can.
Yeah.
So I really dislike this, as I've told you multiple times before, because this all but confirms 320-bit bus.
Yeah.
Which all but confirms that it's going to be a 3080 with more VRAM. Which sucks.
Why does that suck? Why does the bandwidth have to matter on this?
Well,
Yeah,
it's not so much the bandwidth, it's so much that why does every single vendor feel the need to have a product naming scheme and then ruin it? And then ruin it again, and then keep ruining it per generation. Intel's done it, AMD's done it, and NVIDIA's done it. And AMD's also done it on their graphics side. The TI card was the step between the 80 and the Titan 3090. But now it's kind of like, it is a step between, but it's kind of not. I don't know. It's annoying. Because it's not going to have more. It's just bundled it as cores, on or off die. So, yeah, if you took away the VRAM aspect of it, let's say you're playing a game, or you're benchmarking Firestrike, right? That doesn't use a lot of VRAM. What is the actual performance going to be between the 3080 and the 3080 Ti?
Admittedly, I see it being just slightly clocked higher and then more VRAM, and that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, like the clocks, sure, but that's just, you could overclock a 3080 then, right? So
it's just going to be the same with more VRAM.
Yeah, considering it's probably going to be a grand US MSRP, which no one's ever going to buy it for unless they have insider dealings. Recording sound went off, and that was confusing. But apart from that, it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of frustrating. I would have rather of them gone maybe 384-bit bus, but then 12 gigs of VRAM. But that probably would have cost them more to do because of binning. 22 gigs of VRAM. Thank you, Chris, for the ASMR pouring sounds. 22 gigs of VRAM.
Because I'm sad.
Okay, basically, I want to know, why is it not a 352-bit bus with 22 gigs of VRAM?
Oh, I'll tell you why that is. Okay, hang on. Let me pop on headphones. I'm going to be polite. So,
heat and power.
Basically, what I think is happening is NVIDIA is using the same dies between the regular and the TI cards, and they're just doubling the memory.
I would accept that. Hang on, I want to interrupt you. I'm going to do that. Yeah. That guy on OCN that breaks down everything by single words. I would interrupt that because I would be perfectly fine with that if they released a 3060, not a 3060 Ti, and then the upcoming 12 gig was the 3060 Ti. But it's not. They're messing up product names within their own generation, and it's annoying as heck.
I mean, also consider that it's NVIDIA, and I don't know what they're doing.
The 1650, 1660 Ti, what the hell is that nonsense? Yeah. People still just like, I get it. The name shouldn't really determine what the product is, but why do you have to go and make it bad? Like, you could have done a million things to make it good, but you purposefully are deciding to make it bad. Like, I would do this as a meme.
I will say, though, that I do think that rather than 20 gig 320-bit, they should have done 12 gig 384-bit. And
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Unless they're having really bad yields on the die, I think that would actually be cheaper to produce because... Did I mention this last week when we tried to record, or have I mentioned this prior? Whatever.
It's fine.
GDDR6X just doesn't come in the chip density needed. So, oh wait, I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway,
that recording was a test that failed. So, hey.
Oh wait, I think it was the week before, but that also
it doesn't matter.
GDDR6X chips don't come in the right densities, so you can only do. God, what is
clamshell mode?
You have to use clamshell mode if you want I can't even do the math on like what the size of the chips is. I think it's 2 gigabyte chips per memory controller, but either way. So you have to use clamshell mode. They have to do that to get 20 or 24 gigs on these cards, which also increases the bill of materials because now you're dealing with a more complex circuit board and you're dealing with twice the memory chips and you have to deal with signaling.
And it's not like a GDDR6X chip is more than twice a GDDR6 chip.
I actually think they might be, but I don't know.
And I would say the other thing that I'm concerned with the 3060 announcement is with the 6 gig and the 12 gig variants, I hope for the love of God that it's just the same chip but with different VRAM capacity. Because I swear if they do another
all over again,
if they pull the 1060 crap where it's basically a different die based on there's more VRAM it's actually a faster die with more cores. It's ridiculous. It's a broken naming scheme at that point.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, also just have a different SKU.
Also, so there's something like with the whole amount of VRAM. So the only reason I want more VRAM is because in VR, in some games, sometimes it gets a bit low, stuttery FPS dipping.
Right.
And my VRAM usage, yes, it's like 11 out of 11 gigs, but that doesn't necessarily indicate you need more VRAM. But how many people do you think really need 12 gigs of VRAM on a 3060 Ti?
I don't really think it's need. I think it's want.
Yeah,
it's the same as like, I wonder if they, just from a pure marketing standpoint, thought a 3080 Ti 20 gigabyte is going to be much more marketable than a 3080 Ti 12 gigabyte.
Hey, remember back in 2012 when you could get 6 gigabyte 7970s? I think it's just that.
Yeah, it's just bigger number sells better.
Yeah, the 7970, wow, even 3 gigs was fine with that until the GPU didn't become usable anymore.
2 gigs on the 680 was fine until like
it wasn't.
Series.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
I don't even know why you guys are asking that question because, I mean, the performance of the 3060 Ti is a little bit less than a 2080 Ti. So, of course, you would want more VRAM because it's a powerful card.
Yeah. Okay, that was a bad example.
I guess it is, isn't it?
Yeah. You guys just hear 60 and you think slow.
It's not a slow card by any stretch of imagination. No. My biggest concern is just the tiering of the chips. Like if the 3060 6 gig and the 3060 12 gig is going to be the exact same chip, then I have no qualms with this thing being released. But knowing what they did with the 1060, I expect that to be 2 different chips for the 6 gig and the 12 gig variant. And that's the thing that I'm concerned about. Not that it's going to be a slow card. I just hate the tiering and the naming convention.
Yeah.
And so they market it, though, because if they actually market it correctly, where the high VRAM ones are going to be for creators or people who want to use like lots of streams with transcoding, stuff like that, maybe. But
I mean, I suppose, but at that point, if you're a creator and your performance is really going to be that big of an issue, then it would benefit you more to invest in a better GPU rather than...
Well, no, it's not performance at that point. Because if you're using the encoders... Let's say the encoders or something that just needs CUDA, that having 5% more CUDA cores won't actually change your workday. Like if you're already using a full workday to do something, you have to do it overnight on the top end card, well, you may as well switch to a lower end card if it's still going to only take overnight and will be done by the morning. And you can save money on all your rigs and maybe have 2 or 3 more rigs running that just have lots of VRAM to run all the simulations or encoders.
Or AI upscaling of anime.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not even joking. That uses a whole lot of VRAM, and you could easily use all that 8 gigs on the original 3060 Ti.
Now, my only question for that, Jack, is does that actually benefit from parallel GPUs or not? So in that case, I would say go for that 3080 Ti with 20 gigs of VRAM.
Okay, I'm going for that one because I'll probably never be able to get a 3090.
Yeah, right.
I'm shooting for the 3070 Ti.
And actually, you know what? Since Chris showed up mid-topic, the joke that I wanted to make is, to add to more GPUs that are just always going to be out of stock.
Yeah.
So, what's...
Oh, it's just Andrew. That's okay.
Okay, that's fine. So moving on to our next topic.
Hang on, before we move on to our next topic.
Oh.
And I just want to ask, so if it's going to have a 320-bit bus, does that mean all the ROPs and cores, etc., have to be aligned with how much that 320-bit bus is going to have?
I don't think that's true anymore. I think they have decoupled it starting with Ampere.
Okay.
I would need to double check that.
Okay, so that you could add more stuff into it.
Potentially, I believe, but again, I would need to double check. Hang on. RTX.
Wow, I can't believe the 3080 is supposed to sell for $700 US. I have never seen it close to half that. I mean, double that. Sorry.
What am I doing? Review.
Well, yeah, because they're not in stock. like the price is high because.
What do you mean, Simmons? I use this website and I can find all the latest tech from it.
Yep, Alex, 3080 has 96 ROPs on a 320-bit bus, which would not make sense unless they had been decoupled from the bus width. Or from the memory controllers, I mean. So yes, you can now retain the full number of ROPs.
Okay. So that's probably what
I like that change a lot because that was part of the scandal with the 970 back in the day, which was NVIDIA advertised 64 ROPs and it only had 56 ROPs, and yes, but also based on the amount of cores that were enabled, it would be fine with just 52. So whatever, I think is how it worked out. God, that was a hell of a thing. But yeah, no, like as time goes on, NVIDIA's memory controllers and backend and everything has just been getting like more and more granular, which is actually really cool. Because it used to be you would have to disable like the memory bus in chunks of 64 bits. Like that was a new thing in Pascal that they could do otherwise, which would also disable some L2 cache and ROPs, like a substantial amount of it. And now, as far as I know, they can just say, nope, we don't want to attach this memory chip here. And that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes more sense then as to why they're doing that.
Oh, wait, the L2 cache might still be attached because that's at 5 megabytes. But
I thought they did a whole bunch of things with cache redesign too.
Yeah, I think cache is still tied to memory controllers, but that one kind of makes sense. Yeah, regardless.
Oh, so just browsing my favorite hardware store where I get all my PC hardware for, I'm seeing some sold listings for 3090s of $6,600. And not just one, multiple.
That is Quadro money.
You know what, Jack? That reaction was exactly what I wanted to have, but I wasn't inhaling any beverage at the time.
Speaking of GPUs, how much are 2080 Ti's? $700 one bid. $600
no thanks.
Well, Chris? Once again, I don't
buy it now. Damn it!
I don't expect those GPUs to drop in price on the resale market until we actually see first-party stock.
Wait, guys, hang on. Sold 1st of December 2020, NVIDIA RTX 2080 Ti, $5,000.
There's got to be bots involved here.
Nah, that sounds good.
CyberPunk edition.
Ooh, collector's edition.
Yeah.
That's hella cringe. Oh my god, when did they do the CyberPunk edition? That was like
a year and a half ago or something.
Yeah.
2080 Ti CyberPunk.
See, I think we should bring back like the 7800 series GPU, like waifus on the GPU.
Yes.
Please no.
Yeah, my AMD GPU had a waifu on it. Yeah, 7950.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Ruby something. Wait, someone sold a 3090
I've still got my Ruby
for 1
statue.
cent. Wait, how does this work? Are these just people bidding them and then like
these were giveaways? They were giveaways. They're collector's edition. They are only there are only 200 in the wild, and Nvidia gave away 77. So it's unclear where the rest of them are. Yeah, there's just like there are no more than 200 of these in existence. I guess they were giving them out back in the spring to coincide with like the original release date, and then COVID happened, so it got delayed. Also, that's probably just an excuse because the game sucked.
Wait. Chris, sucks.
I mean,
S,
yes, but
not
past
past
tense as
tense.
well. It sucked while it was in development, and it still sucks after launch. But
You've never
Come on.
played it.
Yeah.
He never will. It's kind of
I
funny.
don't plan on it.
Yeah.
I have seen what I've seen, and it doesn't look particularly amazing.
It has a gun in it called Overwatch, which is appropriate that you won't play it because Cat bought you Overwatch at full price and you haven't even downloaded it.
Okay, so first of all, part of that was a combination of finals week, depression, and also they made me like wait a week after making my account to receive gifts.
That's
Nice.
stupid.
It is.
I was going to say, speaking of not stupid products, Kentucky Fried Gaming, aka the Cooler Master KFC collaboration, all in one PC.
Oh, they teamed up with Cooler Master. Is that official
Yep.
now?
So basically, it is a black trash can with a drawer in it where you can conveniently store your chicken tendies. It is going to be Intel NUC 9 based compute, and it will have arbitrary GPUs in the bottom of it. And all of the exhaust from the system is just getting vented up into a heating tray.
You have no idea how angry I am that it's using a NUC.
What it is a Steam machine, which we all know how that ended.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Quite
It's
literally a
Ghost
Steam
Canyon
machine.
Yeah.
No.
So, okay, here's the deal. Those rat fucking bastards owe me money because I had this idea for using GPU exhaust as a convection oven back when the Litecoin boom hit in like 2014.
hang on, Chris.
So did
Chris,
Linus Tech Tips.
Chris,
No, we
I
didn't.
cannot wait for someone to genuinely use this to heat up their chicken or something.
And the
you know-
chicken juice drips into the computer.
No, not short-term detriment, long-term detriment, because we know how smelly and unwashed gamers are. They're not going to clean the filthy chicken grease out of whatever cubby this is going to be sitting in, and this is going to get mold, bacteria. It's going to spread because it's got a fan near it. It's going to spread.
It's going to smell like my car.
Natural selection.
They're going to get like just bacterial fungus infections, so just
No.
black mold.
Not gonna lie, the first thing that comes to mind is the Hoarder Gamer setups. I know you guys have seen those where it's
The
it's
3
like
dozen Mountain Dew
I
cans
don't
around a
wanna
CRT
think about
monitor.
yeah
I
yeah
just
but
put
yeah
pieces in my
some $10 folding table that they got, and then there's just a mountain of trash underneath of it and all around it.
Look,
So
my desk
basically-
might be covered in garbage, but it's not literally garbage. And also, I take my dishes upstairs.
It's fine, Chris. The only garbage in your room is sitting in your chair.
Oh,
That's
Daniel.
Nice.
Wait, Simmons is there?
Hey.
I want to throw my chair into a trash compactor, but anyway.
All right.
Why? So you could be as
That's
tall as
messy.
Simmons.
Yeah,
No, so he can be small.
That was a joke.
yeah. I need to make myself shorter to drive JDMs.
And then you can also take
Yeah,
part in Femboy
okay,
Friday.
but Chris, you
That's
said
right.
it.
It's Femboy Friday.
So, but Chris, you said it yourself. The JDM car, you had more headspace than in your Corolla.
The JDM car.
Yeah,
The
my Civic.
JDM car.
Oh yeah, that one. First of all, that's a USDM Civic. Second of all,
What? It's a
I'm
96
referring to like number
Yeah.
one, cute little K cars, and number two, like other
right,
miscellaneous cute little cars that we never got. I really like the Toyota Serra because it has lots of glass and fun doors.
Oh my
Simmons.
god. One of my neighbors bought 2 of those, spray painted both of them pink, and then put fake TE37s on them.
Why?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Why did he do this?
I don't
Simmons,
know.
Yeah, what's up?
Your car, your Civic, the 96 one,
Yep, the
Was-
96 Civic LX.
was made in Ohio.
Amazing. Yeah,
Nice.
so my Ohio-based Japanese car from 96 has more headspace than the 2015 Corolla.
First
Yeah, it's
of all,
because
it's a
the,
2020 Corolla, and second of all, the sunroof that I didn't ask for takes up some space.
Not just that, but also if you roll your Civic, you will die. Actually, no, you probably wouldn't because you got so much headroom above you, Simmons, but Chris would die.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like the sunroof actually takes off about half an inch of headspace. And
That's dumb.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say he clearly has significantly more safety features than my car has.
If I have like good posture, then my head goes into the roof. But if I have bad posture, then it's fine.
Yeah, but
Actually, no. With the sunroof thing, I've had two identical cars, except one had a sunroof and one didn't. You get a bit more than an inch more headroom.
Oh yeah,
Like it's
Without
closer
it?
to 4 inches.
Without the sunroof, no, that can't.
Now, that would make
No,
sense.
without
because
it, it is. There's a
'cause you've got
significant
the
difference.
glass, the motor, and then you have to have twice as much as the glass, if not more, because of all the seals and crap.
Yeah.
Next time I get my car serviced, I'll go like sit in one of the Corollas on the lot.
No, don't even say anything. Just get out your car and get into another Corolla. And if they ask you, like, sir, why'd you get in the car? It's like, I just feel safe inside a Corolla. I just look forward the entire time.
I want to drive this into a concrete wall. And
no.
Don't say that. Just put your hands at 10 and 2 on the wheel and stare forward the whole time they're servicing your car.
Yes.
No, stay inside the car, Chris. Like, even when they're jacking it up, just stay in.
Yeah. And your knuckles have to be white, like you're gripping the wheel.
You're gripping it like you grip you. No, okay, I should probably stop there.
That's inappropriate.
like I'm gripping my what Simmons.
Yeah, his what Simmons?
Mouse.
You're about
Yeah.
to gender him. Or it.
Yeah.
They.
And moving on to our next rehash article from last week, Microsoft is now following suit from Apple and is developing their own ARM chips.
Again.
Again.
Wow,
again.
Microsoft Windows on ARM. It's gonna suck. Microsoft Cloud stuff on ARM. It's gonna be all right.
I was
What
going to
was it?
say,
Was it
I
the
mean,
ARM Surface Book that just was bad?
Yeah, any time. So the first time I think that Microsoft really tried to put Windows on ARM was with the Surface RT, and
Oh,
it
yeah, that was
was that
Oh,
one
that was
Windows 8
horrible.
version. Yeah, it sucked. I guess Windows Phone, but that doesn't really count.
well, so I guess
It's
my
okay.
question is,
But anyway, hang on. The more recently, they have tried to get like an x86 emulation layer made for some Qualcomm chips, but it sucks. Like, it's actually extremely funny that Apple switched over to the M1, and it is faster doing x86 stuff than pretty much any CPU on the market, including other MacBooks with high-end Intel x86 CPUs. On the flip side, you have Microsoft, and if you see a laptop with like Qualcomm and Windows in it, you can be guaranteed that actually this kind of sucks, and you'd be better off with a 5-year-old Atom. It's just the contrast there is extremely funny, and yeah, a lot of it's because Apple has their closed ecosystem, sure, but
well, so what I was going to say is, because with that specific Surface that used the ARM chip, that was just one of the prefab chips that was just already on the market, correct?
yes, that is correct.
So now that Microsoft is trying to develop their own chips, like trying to follow suit with like the Apple M1, do you think that maybe we'll see something better?
It'll be somewhat better, in particular because ARM is also just better now. Because ARM back in 2012, when the Windows RT came out, it wasn't good. They were using ARM v7.
So
It's not good.
But
now-
you're kind of skipping over like Microsoft SQ1 and SQ2.
Who?
Okay, yeah, I guess you don't know anything. It's cool. Yeah, the Surface Pro X has the SQ1, and then Microsoft 2 months ago released the Surface Pro X something and has the SQ2, which is the Qualcomm developed Microsoft joint chip.
Isn't this just Qualcomm with some customized bits and pieces?
Yeah,
It's
basically.
not from the ground up then. It's
Yeah.
kind of like AMD. It's probably not even like AMD semi-custom parts. It's probably less customized.
yeah, and what I foresee with these new future chips is that it's going to be a ground up development, but not really.
Mhm.
It's still ARM. Like, you've got
I mean, I don't expect it to be nearly as efficient as we'll see with, like, say, the M1 chips, because those things have just proven to be workhorses for what they are.
Yeah, I mean, like you. So I guess a way to look at it is when you look at some of the big chip makers who are traditionally x86, I suppose, or software companies that traditionally have been x86. When they get into ARM, you've got stuff on one hand like the Apple M1, which is incredible, and then on the flip side, you have things like the AMD Opteron X1100, which was just 8 off-the-shelf Cortex cores and not much else going for it. You've got like two huge extremes. You've just got commodity chip or commodity library that's being turned into a custom floor plan, and then you've got like from the ground up microarchitecture. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a
And
nice stuff.
also, I kind of expect them to just port Windows 10 over to it. It's just going to be a really crappy port.
They've already got Windows 10s, which is App Store stuff only, and it's Windows, so that's not.
I mean, if they
work
can get
well.
some sort of like x86 emulation, like even remotely close to what Apple's doing, then it would probably be a really decent chip and experience.
That's the problem, right? Because they've already done x86 emulation with Qualcomm, it just doesn't work properly. Because keep in mind, Windows compatibility more or less goes back to DOS and 16-bit, to some degree. This is still IBM PC. This is like the great grandchild of IBM PC.
Yep.
It's just there's 4 decades. We are in the 5th decade of the IBM PC. So,
Yep.
I don't know.
But Apple is somehow able to run Windows and run it better than Microsoft could run Windows on their ARM.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think it's not like a simple answer. I mean, things really never are.
Yeah.
Do you remember how long Apple was saying we're doing ARM? Like, honestly, 10 years now, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't surprise me that Apple's obviously, they're they're in a unique situation. The same reason why I think why I prefer iPhones is because they have such a small environment to work in. It's both a negative and a positive. If you really don't care much about phones, it's a great positive because if they're designing software, they design it for like 8 phones.
Yep.
No, it's tiny. With the software, they're designing it for their MacBooks or their iMacs, Macs, whatever. But, like, they're all very similar.
Mm.
And they've probably been doing a lot of ARM optimization for their own software for years.
I feel like, Alex, there's an argument to be made that your x86 MacBooks are more similar to each other than like generations of iPhone.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, like, there's probably 30 or 40 variants of Mac computer, but they're probably more similar than the 4 generations of iPhone.
Oh, sure. Because, like, if you take a look at, like, one generation's MacBook Pros, right? Core i5, Core i3, Core i7.
You're just getting incremental improvements.
You're not even getting incremental improvements there. Like, within a generation, there might be...
Oh, right. I was talking about, like
5 or 10 different CPUs, but they're all from the same family. They just vary by clock speed.
Yeah.
Okay, no big deal. Like, that's the exact same CPU.
Yeah.
Just some of them are a bit faster.
Where I feel like Windows is... I feel like a lot of other companies, I don't want to say Windows, a lot of other companies tend to want to release things a lot quicker. And that's true. We can see it in CyberPunk, and we can see it in Windows doing a whole bunch of stuff. Hardware-wise, Windows does seem to want to get stuff out ASAP. And sometimes it hits off really well, like the Surface Book lineup. And sometimes it flops, like the Nokia lineup. And pretty much every other hardware product Microsoft has made, because I can't remember them except for the Xbox.
Yeah, yeah.
Zune. Actually, what are the successful things Microsoft have done? There's the Xbox, there's Windows,
No, not even
Microsoft
Xbox.
Office.
Well,
What's a success?
Not even Xbox. Xbox cost them money for a long time.
No, I mean
Yeah,
the Xbox branding.
We'll count it as successful because it's become successful.
but how are you going to look at success? Because if it failed because of the software side, it's hard to judge the hardware by that. Like the Zoom player was a super good quality. It had great battery life, great sound quality, great user interface, but bad software support.
No, I was just saying, like,
just same deal with Windows Phone for that matter.
Yeah, remove everything. Like, Windows Phone is a good phone and it's a good operating system.
Google
mostly.
sabotage it, and all the execs responsible are going to hell right alongside Thatcher and Reagan.
Amen, brother.
But things they haven't just been able to keep in the market, basically. Probably the Kinect as well.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Although honestly,
oh god, I almost choked.
honestly, the
Kinect
Kinect
happened.
No,
Ow.
no. Do you know what's really interesting with the Kinect?
They copied iToy.
No. Do you know what's really interesting with it? The Kinect turned into pretty much the Oculus sensors. The Oculus sensors I have are Kinect sensors, and Kinect sensors work with the original Oculus. I have a Kinect.
Kinects are actually fairly popular for like DIY electronic stuff because nobody uses them anymore, so you can get them for cheap on eBay or at like.
I bought
Google
mine
or
for like
$15. Yeah, so it's just a nice 3D sensor. It's got like thermal imaging. I think it
doesn't.
It's
infrared. Not the V1 at least.
IR is infrared or is thermal, whatever. Okay, so maybe that was the Xbox version, but regardless, I just think it's really funny though. It's like the Wii comes out, it starts selling. Microsoft and Sony have no idea what to do, so Sony comes out with like, okay, we got motion controllers that look like sex toys, and then Microsoft comes out with, okay, we got the iToy, but it has 2 cameras now.
Do you know what's interesting about the Kinect though? I find it very odd that it didn't play to its strengths because it was actually very popular. And it was only very popular for people. It was really popular with like the dance thingamajiggy.
Yeah, for like casual gamers.
Yeah, like just kids playing it, right? There was always that house that has the, I don't know, is it Dance? It's not Dance Revolution. That's the...
I know which game you're talking... It's Just Dance.
Just Dance. Yeah. And there's like a few others and it's really popular. They kind of went into it with like, oh, it's bundled and stuff, but they should have really pushed it hard to have the Nintendo style of really casual games support it, you know, where it's not this like, oh, I remember when the Kinect came out, it's like, you can like have a gun and you can be like pointing at the screen and shooting. No, they don't care about that.
They ported Call of Duty World at War to the Wii, and you can do that in that game too.
Yeah. No one cares about that.
Like, I have a buddy who didn't realize that game had Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, so he just played the campaign a lot.
But that's why like the Wii is so successful. We still have our Wii and still play it.
Oh yeah,
because it plays into the successes of motion controls where never have to be accurate. You don't have to be competitive. It's all just a bunch of stupid, fun, silly games where you use like swiping or the cut, like for cutting, like Cooking Mama, and you just play into that silliness. And Xbox / Microsoft just didn't feel like, I felt they were so, we were popular with Halo.
Please don't do that again.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, so
one thing that Microsoft definitely made an issue with the Kinect was they relegated Rare to making Kinect games.
Yeah.
No. That's a sin.
And also,
no, they made Banjo-Kazooie. They did one good thing.
Diddy Kong Racing
bolts my ass.
I will say with the PS3 iToy or whatever it was called,
it's even named after a sex toy.
So the game that my family played the most with that functionality was just this little like sports mini game. It was basically like a knockoff of like Me Sports or whatever the hell it's called. Wii Sports.
Wait, what was this with the iToy?
Wii Fit.
Yeah, it was.
iToy was for PS2.
Well, whatever was on the PS3.
I'm pretty sure it's PS3, wasn't it?
No, there's a PS3 version. Never mind.
No, because the iToy on the PS2 was purely camera based. All your stuff was based on the camera. And on the PS3, you actually had your sex toys with the light up bulbs. And I distinctly remember my brothers and several friends putting hours into just playing like ping pong.
Jack, please put this in the thumbnail. Just no context.
Please pixelate that when you do. Just the controller.
Actually, one thing the iToy did, which was kind of neat, was Basically,
404
that
not found. Damn it.
in Gran Turismo 6, I think it does support it, and it does track your face, and you can look around in the car.
Oh, that's neat.
Put this in.
So wait, how would that work? You're still looking at a static screen, but you rotate your face while just like glancing to the left, and then you look to the right.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
if you look left at IRL, then you look left in the game as well.
Yeah,
it's not reversed.
I mean, it's basically like a pseudo VR thing, but rather than your
the
screen
screen
moving,
doesn't move.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a thing on PC that does that as well. But you put a thing on your head and it tracks you with just a regular webcam. I cannot remember the name of it.
Mhm.
Track IR, that's it.
Yeah, there's also the eye tracking stuff, which is just kind of like, yeah, I don't like the idea of where that's going to go.
I will say for like the eye tracking software that I've been seeing in use in just
Oh
games
my god,
is
guys.
like high level like Tetris players, and just you're seeing these guys dropping like tetrominoes like at like 10 times per second, and you can see exactly where they're looking. Is like, how is this person even human? And then they just have this little bubble that just shows where they're looking. I do like that.
Okay, so I did find the link for 404s now, but I did find an article from 2013 about converting the PlayStation Move controller into a
I
vibrator.
really like
That brings
the
back
profile
memories.
picture of OP of that thread.
Yeah.
Oh
Appropriate.
man.
So let's see what archive.org has here. Oh, you just you choose the intensity with the trigger and then press the action button to keep that.
Oh my god.
There is actually homebrew firmware for this.
Oh god.
Source PSX scene. Don't mind if I do. Oh, this is like 2 links deep.
Okay. Well, let me move on before this goes any further down the rabbit hole.
Just stick it in extras if you think
Not
people
like
get
we're going to
mad
lose
at that.
monetization.
I'm sure it's fine. I didn't say what you do with it. I just said that it has rumble function for your genitals.
All right. So I brought this up during the recording, but the price has changed. Bitcoin is at a new all-time high. Last week it was about 23 grand. This week it is at 26,151 US dollars per single Bitcoin.
I've just been lazy, but I really should start get back to trading the coins. But the problem is, even $100 I don't want to throw away. Because
right.
while I'm
Alex.
saving up for a car, like
Alex, we had a conversation earlier about you and finances. I think you're okay risking some money on Bitcoin.
well, oh right, but the thing is, like, while you can look at, I suppose it's different because I'm not looking at it as money that I can just chuck away. Keep in mind, I need to pay tax on that still. Hey,
well, just keep some of it around then for tax purposes.
Just don't cash it out.
Yeah, I did that once, and that's how I lost my half a Bitcoin.
Unrelated. This is the other thing. How I make money. This is sounding like Frig Frog.
Sounding like Andrew as well, for that matter.
But yeah, no, there's no way you can, like, it has to be direct deposit. So I'm gonna obviously I'm gonna have to pay taxes on it.
Sure.
And it's gonna be like 1/3 of it.
Is Bitcoin really a 33% tax for you?
No, that's
it's income from the other thing.
Oh,
no,
right.
even if I made money on Bitcoin, it's kind of complicated with Canada because if I trade, so let's say I bought $100 of Bitcoin, right, and then I made $200 from it. Technically, withdrawing that money is income, and I have to pay taxes on it. But if it's once off, CRA just probably doesn't care. Because there is no, like, in the US, it's like anything above $500, I believe, is you don't have to worry about taxes with. Whereas Canada, you make a profit of $1, you technically have to pay income tax on it if you're already earning
all
above
cumulative. All your income.
Yeah,
gotcha.
That's why you should do tax
So
fraud.
it's basically calculated based on your net
Yearly.
gain from your initial deposit.
Yeah, because I have a job that's making money, I go above the minimum. Actually, I honestly think the minimum is pretty low. It's like 12,000 or something a year. But
I can't type right now because my keyboard's in shambles. I don't have a spare keyboard, but I think
minimum
it's
wage
like
definitely has to pay tax. I know that much.
15,000.
Yeah.
Canadian?
That sounds about right. Like 15.3.
Which is like, well, which is basically close to 10,000 US. Is you don't pay taxes until you hit that income point. So that basically accounts for most part-time workers.
Yeah.
But once you hit that, and then like there's different levels like that. I think it's like at 30,000, it goes up like another 3 or 4% on everything above that. And then once you hit like 45,000, then now it's another 3% on all of that.
Taxes are the same, and I mean everywhere in the world it's basically done like that.
Yeah.
But there's some really wonky ways that it goes up though. And yeah, it includes every source of income that comes in. That's net income. So whether it's rental properties, whether it's investments, whether it's investments,
sucks.
RSP withdrawals.
Investments has a way around it because you can use, if you have money in a TFSA, you can trade within that TFSA to make money. And then if you withdraw it from that TFSA, that is tax free.
Yeah, but that's the whole argument of the rich get richer, because to be able to have money in a TFSA, that's plus still have disposable income for investing, you already have a good amount of money to begin with. Well,
not necessarily, because you can look at your TFSA, you can kind of split it up. Like you can use 20% of it for trading and 80% of it for savings. An example for me, this is just going off the deep end of, not deep end, but of Canadian finances. It actually doesn't make sense for me to open an RRSP with my company, which is kind of messed up because they don't even match it at all. So it makes more sense for me to do a TFSA, which I've been trying to do as aggressively as possible. But in theory, I could trade some of it and make money off of it. I've just left it to auto trade, and I've made about 12% of my money back so far this year, which isn't bad considering the highest savings account I can find is 2.3%.
Yeah, which is weird because like my RRSP that my company matches plus a DPSP, it still gained this year 13.4% on top after what I put in, and that's at like a moderate balanced profile.
Oh, so mine's on aggressive. Are you with Wealthsimple or
Industrial Alliance?
Okay.
I remember when this was a tech podcast.
Yeah, we're talking money now.
No, like honestly, having to learn a new country's way, having to learn a new country's way of how you deal with all money is just. Ugh. So I spent a long time just kind of.
You would just trade dirt for food.
Yes. Yeah, no. In South Africa, we had like the dirt bank and the dirt market and stuff like that. So it was a lot more predictable. You know, silt would go for this much and quartz for that much. Over here, it's a lot more like you deal with, you know, paper.
Double doubles and timbits.
Does diamonds count as dirt?
Yes.
Diamonds are a kind of very shiny dirt.
Humans are just uncompressed diamonds.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Close enough.
Please do a meme with like a human JPEG and then 7-zip over it and then it just turns into a diamond.
That would be a very interesting diagram, and I think you need to make it for us.
I'm going to do that now.
Oh, okay. That works.
Thank you.
Well, while you work on that, so as of December 11th, Hyundai Motor Group has announced that they will be acquiring Boston Dynamics for $880 million.
They're going to make robots with guns and they're going to sell them to cops.
Hang on. So this is great because now Hyundai has bought another company that can make soulless and lifeless just like their cars.
Yeah.
XD.
Not even
anybody else Korean vehicles suck?
That's not even like a ironic meme because that would be like.
I mean, Kia's not great too.
No,
I mean, but Kia has soul.
Shut up!
Shut up!
Shut the
That was good.
Kick your ass.
Get across the border.
Actually,
I'll be waiting for you. I love you too.
Look, I'm not going to do crimes to pet your dog. Nothing personal.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, honestly, I would.
I would accept that, like Korean cars lifeless XD as a meme if they were actually good, but they're not.
I was going to
Also-
say, I could always just make a 3-door Veloster joke like we like to make.
Hang on. I think I've told one of you about my Kia dealership experience. I think it was Chris.
Mhm.
My Kia.
Yeah,
was
I'll
me
like
as
2
well.
a.m.
Yeah. I might as well just say it on the podcast. The long and the short of it is that a tree fell on my uncle's car. We went car shopping. And because I was tagging along because, hey, car shopping is kind of fun for me and stressful for other people. I guess it was
It's
fun
very
because it wasn't
fun.
my money. Anyway, we went to Toyota, Mazda, Honda, and Kia. And the Honda, Toyota, and Mazda dealership were all very enthusiastic, all wanted, because there's the whole family there, they wanted to also try and sell to me either the Type R, the 8.6, or the Miata. All of them were really trying to get me to drive it as a test drive with like
A
no
fun,
questions
cute
asked.
little-
They were like, just here, you can have the key and go by yourself. And I was like, I didn't actually have my Canadian G license at that time. So I was just like, no, I can't. Because I just came to Canada. Anyway, we went to the Korean dealership. I mean, the Korean dealership.
I'm gonna get me some Koreans.
That's a nice Freudian slip there. I like it.
They better
We
play
went-
StarCraft.
we went to the Kia dealership, and half the lights worked, which was just not a great. Anyway, it felt a bit like a backyard meat dealership, and we trying the cars, and they're like, "Yeah, no, you have to get a Sportage because it's the CUV." It's like, oh, okay, and there was at that time relatively new. I can't remember. Basically, it was the Quadrifoglio
Yes, Stinger.
competitor. The Kia Stinger was there. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
neat. I tried to open it. It's locked. It's like, okay. Odd. It's in the dealership. I don't know why they'd lock it. They unlocked it for me after some persuasion. And then they basically said, like, yeah, I didn't even ask about test drive. I wasn't wanting to test drive any of these cars. But they're like, no, you're not allowed to test drive that car at all. Unless you put down I can't remember the percentage, but a deposit, we will not let you test drive that car at all. Like this very aggressive kind of language. And it's like, okay. And then even with the Sportage, which was, cheaper than the Stinger, they wouldn't let my uncle test drive it without a deposit. And he was just like, cool. Okay, I guess we're not buying a Kia then. Like,
Yeah.
because we got to test drive like the CRV, the CX-5, and the CX-3, and the CX-9, and the what's the Toyota's RAV4. All just no questions asked. Here's our license for insurance reasons, and go on the road. Here was the only one that were like really, really just bitches about it.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many people, because I'm not the only person. Like so many people say, not Kia, but Kia and Hyundai have horrible dealerships. I wonder how many sales they've lost just over their attitude.
Speaking of fun stories about cars being locked at the dealership, so the car that I ended up getting was sitting inside the showroom. A technically used Corolla, of all things, is just in the showroom. Like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to question it. But anyway, the window was down. The door was locked. And I had the brilliant idea the lock's right there. Might as well.
You set off the alarm, didn't you?
I set off the alarm inside the showroom.
Did you just stand there looking awkward, or did you run away?
Stood there looking awkward and then ran away awkwardly.
just get in.
I kind of had a deer in headlights look, and then I just crouched down behind the driver door and just.
Why'd you crouch down? What?
Well, there was nobody like that. That was right by an exterior wall. The seating area was on the other side of the car, so it was.
Why you hid? Why did you hide? You should have just gone, oops.
Yeah. Or you
And
should have
that's
just
it.
dove
That's when you just
in
get
and
in.
got in the car and acted like
I'm
you're
not
like
sure
gonna
how to
steal it.
handle these situations.
Just get in, and then when they arrive, just say, "What are you doing at my car? Go away."
Yeah.
Chris, this is not a video game. You don't just crouch to
was-
sneak.
That was.
No,
That
he's
was
doing
the first time.
he's
I
doing
set
the
off alarm in
NPC
that car.
He's doing the NPC behavior, like when they get scared, they just
Yeah.
crouch.
They
The second
crouch and put
time-
up their hands.
The second time that I set off the alarm in that car, I have been sitting in a Sonic parking lot eating food in my car, and I opened the door to get out to throw away my trash, and the alarm went off.
Cool. How'd you
my
do
hands
that?
were
Chris,
full.
what you should do is you should just shout loudly and say "fuck, shit" and just sprint off.
That would be very inconvenient.
Yeah.
No, at the dealership you should have done that.
Just going to a dealership lot and setting off his mini alarms. It's like, man.
See how many alarms it takes before somebody's like, "Hey, stop that."
And if they ask you, just like, no, I'm testing the alarm.
Have a name tag that says name tag and be like, yeah, I'm the
wearing
alarm
a
Name tag
tester.
that says alarm tester. Yeah, that's
I'm
Yeah.
going to wear a high-vis vest and a hard hat, and I'm just going to go around shimmying blocks, setting
And
off
short shorts.
alarms. Yeah, why not?
Short cargo shorts.
Oh yeah.
with
Yeah.
a clipboard.
Yeah. And like just like a plain white T-shirt underneath the high visibility vest.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
stop-
Stopwatch.
as well.
Start the stopwatch every time you open the door to see how long it takes the alarm to trigger.
Yeah. But no, just and if somebody asks, just say, "Hi, I'm the county car alarm inspector."
Yeah.
I was gonna say this would make an unironically terrible YouTube channel, and I feel like you should totally just make
I
it
feel like
Chris.
that's a bit specific a gimmick to be an entire channel, but yeah, sure, whatever.
I
Oh,
mean,
here you go,
If they,
Chris.
if they
You've
speak
got the
to
map
you,
already.
just speak in puns. Like, I don't want to alarm you.
They would probably call the cops, and the cops would shoot me, and a jury of the cops' peers would not convict him.
Nice.
I mean, that's a net
Chris,
positive.
Chris, you've got
Honestly.
the map of Cracker Barrels.
I
In the
do.
middle of the summer, just go to each one and find every vehicle that has an open window on their door or sunroof
Okay, that's actually illegal.
Okay,
with your full high vis vest and everything, and just test it, and then
Okay,
just
so-
stand in front of the car and just write down your clipboard, and then just go to the next one.
Actually, number one, that's crimes, and number two, somebody breaking into my car at like a gas station right off an interstate in a small town, or a Cracker Barrel or something like that, where you know that people are going to be traveling, is like one of those intrusive thoughts that's in the back of my head when I'm there. So I will absolutely not put people through that particular breed of hell. How dare you suggest that I do that?
Yeah.
Just trying to show you a good time.
On that note, I think we're at a good wrapping up point after talking about several crimes that Chris is not going to commit.
Yeah, I'm not going to commit those, probably.
What are you going to commit?
Let's not talk about that. Thank you all for listening. And stay tuned for next week for our next recording.
Oh,
which will
boy, I beat you to it.
I'm going to beat you.
J'aime la poutine. Est-ce que tu veux some poutine, Simmons?
Shut up, Baxi. We don't speak that language here.
That's a dying language.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yep. Oh, thanks, and bye-bye.
Jesse, you think you're clever. You think you're clever.
Why
It's
did-
funny once the joke was already made.
No, but why are you trying to sound like Frick?
Oh, why not?